So we are reading from Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna wanted to know about Krishna's position, want to see Vibhuti, Keshu Goshicha Bhavesh. O Janardhan, again please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulence. I am never satiated in hearing about it. For the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. Now Krishna is giving his answer. He's explaining. Because Arjuna is saying previous verses, Vistarana Atmarjana. Only you can speak yourself. So that is why please you speak about yourself. Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Hantate Kathe Shami, Dibbahi Atmavita, Pradhanyata Kurusishta, Nasti, Anta Vistarashami. Sri Bhagavan Vacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Hanta, yes, the unto you, Kathe Shami I shall speak. Dibba, divine, he, third. Atma Vibhutaya, personal opulences. Pradhanyataha, which are principle. Kurusishta, or best of the Kurus. Na asti, there is not. Anta limit, Vistarasya, to the extent. May, my. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, yes, I'll tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limited. Sorry, limitless. No asti anto. No asti anto. There is no limit. So that is why I'll tell you many splendorous manifestation. But only of those which are important, only that. Why only important? Because unlimited, limitless. It is not possible to comprehend the greatness of Krishna and his opulences. The senses of the individual soul are limited and do not permit him to understand the totality of Krishna's affairs. Still, the devotees try to understand Krishna, but not on the principle that they will be able to understand Krishna fully at any specific time or any state of life. I'm reading again this part. The devotees try to understand Krishna, but not on the principle that they will be able to understand Krishna fully. When a bird flies in the sky, it does not mean that the bird is trying to cross this planet or universe. No. He for enjoying. Devotee when discuss about Krishna's opulence, it is not by hearing, discussing, want to compare. Just by for their enjoyment. They will able to understand fully, not with that attitude. Rather, the very topics of Krishna are so relishable that they appear to the devotees as nectar. When you go to Ganges for swimming, it does not mean you want to cross the river. Just you want to enjoy the river. Does the devotees enjoy them? In discussing Krishna's opulences and his deserved agencies, the pure devotees take transcendental pleasure. Therefore, they want to hear and discuss them. Krishna knows that living entities do not understand the extent of his opulences. He therefore agrees to state only the principal manifestations of his different energies. The what? Pradhanataha, principal, main, is very important because we can understand only a few of the principal details of the Supreme Lord, for his features are unlimited. It is not possible to understand them all. And Vibhuti, as used in this verse, refers to the opulences by which he controls the whole manifestation. Vibhuti, Vibhuti Aishwarya, which Aishwarya through which he controls this Vibhuti, Pradhanyata Kurusheshta. In the Amar Kosh dictionary, it is stated that Vibhuti indicates an exceptional opulence. Now, Vibhuti does not mean any opulence. So the exceptional opulence only there. The impersonalist or pantheist cannot understand the exceptional opulences of the Supreme Lord, nor the manifestations of his divine energies. Both in the material world and in the spiritual world, his energies are distributed in every variety of manifestation. Now Krishna is describing what can be directly perceived by the common man. Thus, part of his variegated energy is described in this way. Now he's starting to explain. Text 20. Om Atma Gura Kesho Sarva Bhuto Ashastita. Om Adishcha Madhyamcha Bhutanam Antaivacha. Om I. Krishna is telling this, the cause of this was I. And Krishna is telling about this I. I can say I am this, but you should not tell like this. He is a little bit disease, Vishal. Aham Mamati. But Krishna is saying I, Aham I, Atma, the soul, Gura Kasha, Arjuna, Sarvabhuta Ashasthita, Sarvabhuta, of all living entities. Ashasthita means situated within the heart. Aham, I am. Adi origin, Cha, also. Madhyam Cha, also middle. Bhutanam of the living entities, Anto, and Eva, certainly, Cha, add. I am the super soul, Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all living beings. In this verse, Arjuna is addressed as Gurakesh, which means one who has conquered the darkness of sleep. Gudaka means ignorance of sleep. Who has conquered ignorance of sleep is called Gurakesh. Gudaka means ignorance is controller. For those who are sleeping in the darkness of ignorance, it is not possible to understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests himself in various ways in material and spiritual worlds. Thus, this address by Krishna to Arjuna is significant, because Arjuna is above such darkness. The person of Godhead agrees to describe his various opulences. Krishna first informs Arjuna that he is the soul of the entire cosmic manifestation by dint of his primary expansion. Before the material creation, the Supreme Lord, by his plenary expansion, accepts the Purusha incarnations, and from him everything begins. Therefore, he is Atma. the soul of the Mahatattva, the universal elements. The total material energy is not the cause of the creation. Actually, Mahavishnu enters into the Mahatattva, the total material energy. He is the soul. When Mahavishnu enters into manifested universes, he again manifests himself as a super soul in each and every entity. We have experienced that the personal body of the living entity exists due to the presence of the spiritual spark. Without the existence of the spiritual spark, the body cannot develop. Similarly, the material manifestation cannot develop unless the Supreme Soul Krishna enters. As stated in the Shubal Upanishad, Prakriti Adi Sarvabhuta Antaro Jami Sarva Sheshi Cha Narayanaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is existing as the Super Soul in all manifested universes. The three Purusha avatars, as described in Srimad Bhagavatam, they are also described in the Narada Pancharatra. One of the Shattata Tantra is Narada Pancharatra. There it is mentioned, Vishnustu Trini Rupani Purushakhani Atho Viduhu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests three features as Karadaksha Vishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Kshiradaksha Vishnu in this material manifestation. Sometimes some people challenge who is great, Krishna or Vishnu. You can immediately ask, okay, how many forms of Vishnu? Wow. Then you can quote, yes, there is a Shattata Tantra called Narada Pancharatra that is mentioned that, you quote the verse, Vishnustu Trini Rupani Purushakhani Atho Vidu. Wow. And they are Karadaksha Vishnu, Kshiradaksha Vishnu, and Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Then he will not discuss further. The Mahavishnu or Karadaksha Vishnu is described in the Brahma Samhita. Ja Karanarnava Jale Bhajati Shmajo. The Supreme Lord Krishna, the cause of all causes, lies down in the cosmic ocean as Mahavishnu. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the beginning of this universe, the maintainer of the universal manifestations, and the end of all energy. Adityanam aham Vishnu, Jyotisham Ravirangshama, Murchir Murtam Ashmi Nakshatranam aham Shashi. Adityanam of the Adityas, aham I am. Vishnu, the Supreme Lord. Jyotisham of all luminance. Ravi, the sun. Angshuman, radiant. Morichi. Marutam of the Marutas. Ashmi, I am. Nakshatranam of the stars. Aham, I am. Shashi, the moon. Of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. Of the Marutas, I am Marichi. And among the stars, I am the moon. Here you can see it's clearly mentioned. The stars and moon are different. Among the stars, I am the, sorry. Among the stars, I am the moon. That moon is also a star. But modern science, they know stars, all stars are like sun, and moon is not a planet, also Upagraha. But according to Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, moon also a nakshatra, star. Nakshatranam Angshashi. There are 12 Adityas, Dadash Aditya, of which Krishna is the principal. Among all the luminaries shining in the sky, the sun is the chief. And in the Brahma Samhita, the sun is accepted as the glowing eye of the Supreme Lord. There are 50 varieties of wind blowing in space. And these winds are controlling deity. These winds, and of these winds, the controlling deity Marichi represents Krishna. Here Krishna 50 winds, actually 49. Somebody is telling, Anapanchash by Maru. That means, it's understandable. Now, when you say roughly, the age of Kali, 4,32,000. Some 4 lakhs. That means it's understandable. I don't want to give details. Among the stars, the moon is the most prominent at night. And thus, the moon represents Krishna. It appears from this verse that the moon is one of the stars. Therefore, the stars that twinkle in the sky also reflect the light of the sun. The theory that there are many suns within the universe is not accepted by Vedic literature. All these stars are sun because they are so far, that is why it looks like a star. Actually, they are sun. This modern science is telling, but it is not accepted by Bhagavad Gita. The sun is one, and as by the reflection of the sun, the moon illuminates, so also do the stars. Since Bhagavad Gita indicates wherein that the moon is one of the stars, the twinkling stars are not suns, but is similar to the moon. We should not be bewildered by the modern science. Vedanam samvedoshmi, devanam ashmi bhasha, indriyanam manoschashmi, bhutanam ashmi chetan. Vedanam of all the Vedas, Samaveda, the Samved, Ashmi ayam. Devana of all the demigods, Ashmi ayam. Bhashava, the heavenly king. Indriyanam of all the senses. Mano, the mind, Charles Ashmi ayam. Bhutanam of all living entities, Ashmi ayam. Chetana, the living force. Of the Vedas, I am the Shambhi. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am the living force. The difference between matter and spirit is that matter has no consciousness, like the living entities. Therefore, this consciousness is supreme and eternal. Consciousness cannot be produced by combination of matter. Prabhupada has given so many lectures. Life comes from life. In the book. Text 23. Rudranam Shankaraschashmi Vittesha Jaksharakshasham Bhushinam Pavakoschashmi Meru Shikhorinamaham. Rudranam of all the Rudras, Shankara, Lord Shiva, Cha also Ashmi Aya. Vitta Isha Vittesh. Vitta means treasure. Isha means controller. Vittesh. Vittesh means Lord of the treasure of the demigods. Jaksha Rakshasa, of the Jakshasa Rakshasa. Boshunam, of the Boshus. Pavakaha, fire. Cha also, Vashmi, I am. Meru, Meru, Shikharinam, of all mountains. Aham, I am. Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Jakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of wealth. Of the bushes, I am fire. And of the mountains, I am Meru. There are 11 Rudras, of whom Shankara, Lord Shiva, is prominent. He is the incarnation of the Supreme Lord, in charge of the mode of ignorance in the universe. The leader of the Jakshasas and Rakshasas is Kubera, the master treasurer of the demigods, and he is the representation of the Supreme Lord. Meru is a mountain famed for its rich natural resources. Text 24. Purusham cha mukham ma vidhi partho brihspati. Shnanim, shnaninam, shnaninam skanda. Shnaninam aham skanda, sarasam smishagara. Purudosham, of the priests. Also, Mukham, the chief, Mam, me, Vidya, understand, Partha, or son of Pritha, Arjuna, Brihaspatim, Brihaspat. Shananinam, of all commanders, I am Skanda, Kartika. Sarvasham, of all reservoirs of water, Ashmi, I am Shagara, the ocean. Of priests, Arjuna, know me to be the chief, Brihaspat. Of generals, I am Kartikeya, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Indra is the chief demigod of the heavenly planets and is known as the king of the heavens. The planet on which he reigns is called Indra. Brihspati is Indra's priest, and since Indra is the chief of all kings, Brihspati is the chief of all priests. And as Indra is the chief of all kings, similarly Skanda or Kartikeya, the son of Parvati and Lord Shiva, is the chief of all military commanders. And of all bodies of water, the ocean is the greatest. These representations of Krishna only give hints of his greatness. Maharshinam Bhriguraham Giramushmi Ekaksharam Jugganam Japa Juggashmi Sthavaranam Himalaya. Maharishinam, among the great sages, Bhrigu, Aham, I am. Giram, of vibrations, Ushmi, I am. Ekam Aksharam, Pranab. Jagyanam, of sacrifices, Japa Jagga, chanting, Ushmi, I am. Sthavaranam, of immovable things, Himalaya, the Himalaya mountain. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations and the transcendental Om of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy name, chanting of the holy names. Japa, in the bracket Japa. Chanting sometimes in Sankirtan Japa. Here, category says Japa Japa. Of and of all immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Brahma, the first living creature within the universe, created several sons for the propagation of various kinds of species. Among these sons, Virigu is the most powerful sage. Of all the transcendental vibrations, Om represents Krishna. Of all sacrifices, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare is the purest representation of Krishna. Sometimes animal sacrifices are recommended. Sometimes animal sacrifices are recommended. But in the sacrifice of Hare Krishna, there is no question of holiness. It is the simplest and the purest. Whatever is sublime in the worlds is a representation of Krishna. Therefore, the Himalayas, the greatest mountains in the world, also represent him. The mountain named Meru was mentioned in a previous verse, but Meru is sometimes movable, whereas the Himalayas are never movable. Thus, the Himalayas are greater than Meru. Text 26. Ashatta Sarva Vikhanam Devarshinam cha Narada Gandharvanam Chitratha Siddhanam Kapila Muni. Ashatta, the benevolent, Sarva of all trees. Devarshinam, of all the sages amongst the demigods. Cha and Narada. Gandharvanam, of the citizens of the Gandharva planet. Chitratha, Chitra. Siddhanam, of all those who are perfected. Kapila Muni, Kapil Muni. Of all trees, I am the benevolent, and of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitra, and among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapil. The banyan tree, Ashatha, is one of the highest and most beautiful trees, and people in India often worship it as one of their daily morning rituals. Amongst the demigods, they also worship Narada, who is considered the greatest devotee of the universe. Thus, he is the representation of Krishna as a devotee. The Gandharva planet is filled with entities who sing beautifully, and among them, the best singer is Chitraratha. Among the perfect living entities, Kapila, the son of Devahoti, is a representative of Krishna. He is considered an incarnation of Krishna, and his philosophy is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavad. Later on, another Kapil becomes famous, but his philosophy was atheistic. Thus, there is a gulf of difference between them. And to make difference, Prabhupada uses Devahoti Putra. Like to differentiate Bhagavad Gita from other Bhagavad Gita as it is. In the same way, to differentiate from Nastik Kapil, here this Kapil is Devahoti Putra Kapil.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dhanya Pranams. Maharaj, Krishna says that I am in each and every atom. So how should I understand that the matter which is not conscious, it has atoms in it. So Krishna is in it is in the atoms, each and every atom. So how should I understand this?
Yes, there also, but so covered, this looks like that there is no. Actually, there is no space. Yes, or there is no Parma everywhere. In one sense, actually nothing matter in that sense. There is nothing matter. And in one sense, as everything comes from Krishna's body, so everything actually transcends.
Mm. Maharaj, how Himalayas are greater than Meru? How they are greater
Yeah,
than
Prabhupada
Meru?
tell Gita because Meru sometimes and previously this mountain moves, travels. Moinak Parvat is to travel. Nowadays you cannot see. So Meru, here is said, Sthaboranang Himalaya, Sthabor, immovable. Whereas Meru sometimes move. That is why it's not considering the Sthabor. Because Meru
Means it is not stable. Means that is
Sthabor
why.
means not he can move. Sthabor means achal, trees. Trees are called trees, mountains are called sthabor, who does not move.
Mm.
Sthabor and Jangam. Jangam means who moves. Sthabor means doesn't.
And
Jangam.
Kapila is the Maharaj. Kapila is he's the perfect living entity. How does how do I understand this perfect living entity?
Perfectly means
Kapila.
he, Devahoti Kabil, when you can see in the first tense in Bhagavatam, he behaved like a person, but you can see his teachings. So here opulence, you would think, if you want to see Krishna's opulence, you see a human being, Kapil. That means through this, everything actually Krishna. But why people want to see that, oh, he's like that. That is also my expansion. So that we can surrender ultimately Krishna. That is why. Actually, nothing beyond Krishna. Because we
Mm.
are attracted by the extraordinary thing. The Krishna is telling about, yes, that is also.
Mm.
So that means we have to be attracted by Krishna only. At the end, Krishna said actually, wherever you see any extraordinary thing, whatever I have not mentioned here, that is also I. Like artificial intelligence, chat GPT, that is also I.
Yes.
Everything. Then,
Thank you.
only acceptance as well, then ultimately will take shelter of Krishna. We should not go there. Okay, Akshay.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Sadar Pranam. Guru Maharaj, in the purport just now we read, Prabhupada has written that Narad Muni is the greatest of devotees. So Krishna, he is Krishna's representative as a devotee. So Guru Maharaj, this I am reminded of another verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Panchatattvatmakam Krishna verse. So there are different designations are given like Bhaktavataram, Bhaktakyam. So sometimes I have difficulty understanding the significance and who is what. So I wanted to understand.
There is Bhakta with the Bhakta Khan. The Bhakta is Narad Muni. Then is Bhakta is Narad Muni. Bhaktak. Bhakta Shakti. Shakti Hone energy. There is Gadadha. Panchatattva Atmakam Krishna. Krishna, Panchatattva Atmakam. In five manifestation, Bhakta Rupo as a devotee. He came as a devotee. Krishna is as a devotee. Bhakta Rupa. Bhakta Sharupa. Rupa and Sharup is very difficult to understand. Bhakta Sharup. Bhakta Rup, Bhakta Sharup. Nityananda. Bhakta Avatar. incarnation. You have to understand what is it. Rup, Sharup and Avatar. Krishna is also Avatar. Yeah, Krishna is an Avatar. He is Avatari. Avatar. And Bhakta Shakti. As Radhan is Shakti, that is Shakti. As Narad Muni is devotee, that we should understand in such.
So Guru Maharaj, all three are different Bhakta Swarupa, Bhakta Avatar, and they're different and yet they're similar in one sense.
Like, the way you understand, the way, what is the difference between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda? That is the difference between Bhakti Rup and Bhakta Sharup. What is the difference between Bhakta and Bhakta Shakti? The difference between the Gadadhar and Srivas, that is difference. What is the difference between Bhakta Avatar and Bhakta Shakti? The difference between Advaita Acharya and Gadadhar. You understand this way?
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada. Bhagavad Gita as it is. Oh.